Major trends in Jewish mysticism. Lecture 3, 115. Donello, edited Castielli, page 40. Chukmut, Hunpush, folio 7b, C. Shari, Chasud, Wahyachud, page 13. 116. Eliezer of Worms in Shari Hasud Wahyachud, page 14. 17. Schreiner in R.E.J., volume 29, page 207, on Malik al-Sejdulani of Ramla and Benjamin Nahawendi, Shahrastani, translated by Har Brucker, volume 1, page 256. Kirkisani, translated Nimoy in HUCA 7, page 386. 116. Poznansky in R.E.J., volume 50, 1905, page 100 to 31. I mean 10 to 31. Nimoy seems to have overlooked this important article. 119. Epstein, locally cited. And it's interesting, as we, you would recognize the name Nimoy, but not till, was it Star Trek? 120. Shari Chasud Wahyachud, page 14. Instead of Zaharyal, the reading here is Huduryal. Barita di Usuf ben Alzial in HaHoker 2, page 44. Elhanan ben Yakar Yasud His Udut, manuscript New York, Jewish Theological Seminary, 838, folio 104a. 121, Otzer Nehmad, volume 3, 80 to 81. 122, I discovered these fragments of the totally unknown book and manuscript Adler, 1161, of the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, folio 70b, 71b, and 72b, and 73a. Lashun Resh. Shemuel ben Resh. Galun Yamunus. Maspar Chakod. Asher Takan. The mysterious title, Seper Shuk'ud, signifies, as I am informed by S. Lieberman, Samuel's book of Ketuboth 43b. Speaking of the Kavod, Samuel says in folio 73a, Wahna Chakrati ki Rabim Mer Butia Chukmi Hut Lamud Shanam Magirim Belu Hes Udut Kaf Shin Haminim Hathmei Shlah Amdu Basud Qad Ushim Amnam Yash Much Kami Haminim Shi Ud Ayim Du Gama Udut Wala Hayakar. And the speculation, 123 regards speculations that are found in Shari Hasud Wah Yetchud, page 13 to 14, and already in the fragments of Seper Chukud, see the last note, Baba Bathra, 25a, Sudi Raziya, edited by Kemalhar, page 32, 26, Shari Chasud Wah Yetchud, page 13, also MGWJ, volume 78, 1934, page 495. 127, Miss Adler, manuscript Adler, usually that's Miss, right? But manuscript, the Adler manuscript, 1161, folio 71b. Hello. Which, halal is not the devil, thank you very much. Yahza Hashkina Ki Hun Braim Mahalim Lashakyana Shahya Baruwa Abel Latyad Labwa Yahlu Laqab Hey Batmu. Thus, as far as Gershom Scholem is aware, the earliest reference in Jewish mystical literature to a duality of the two terms Hakabhe and Hashkina, it seems to have been originated in the latter Agada, where we find in Midrash Meshli, edited by Buber, 47a, a passage such as the following: Amda Shukina Lepni Hakabhe Wambra Lepnu Labunu Shul Aulam Waku. 128, Epstein, in his aforementioned article in Hahoker, Volume 2. 129 regards his Gershom Scholem's article in MGWJ 75 from 1931, page 172 to 190. 130, we have Hakmat Hanapush, folio 20 AD, and Pasim Arugat, page 39, Sifra Hasidim, 1514. 131 is note 114 to the second lecture. 132, Shari Hasud Wah Yetchud, page 14. 133, Semek Chukmut Hanpush, folio 23b. 134, Ibid folio 29c, and 135, folio 28d. 136, Sudi Raziya, page 34. 137, Chukmut Hanpush, folio 20d. 138 is regarding folio 20a. And notes to Lecture 4, Abraham Abulafia and the Doctrine of Prophetic Kabbalism. Now, during the time of the Hasids Hasidim Chassidim or whatever, that we previously mentioned, we run into what certainly increased this idea of the blood libel, is that Jews desperate not to be forced to live Christian lives with Christian diets and to enact the worship of other than God, were willing to kill themselves and their families, their very children. And it seems that there was a greater boldness on part of the women to kill their families. It wasn't just something that was done. There was actual rabbinical writings encouraging this stuff. Now, the Sephardic and the Sephardic and some of the people in the Muslim majority areas didn't quite have this. Well, for one, Islamic law tended to promote in the areas of the people that would be considered Muslim, an allowance of other people to have their, faiths. So there wasn't quite the effort to convert everybody. Because remember, the Roman Catholic Church until 1937 considered all monotheists to be pagan. I mean, literally, all monotheists had the label of pagan. And if you were a non-Christian, of course, you were pagan or heathen too. So I don't want to hear any nonsense in the comments about pagan and heathen religions. It's a style of housing, according to the Romans. Notes on Lecture 4, Abraham Abulafia and the Doctrine of Prophetic Kabbalism. Semek Ashel Abraham Fjorth, 1701, is the first note that we have here. The second note refers to his book, Chalum Mutyu Shil Hesh Batay, Resh Murderki Ash Kanazi, 1938, chapter 4. And note 3 to lecture 4 includes a note about something first published in 1831. The best edition of the book appeared in Warsaw in 1868 under the title of Semek Lik Uthi Yaurim. Note 4 refers to something from the British Museum, number 749. Now there's separate collections that get different names, but folio 10 to 28. Gunsberg, 691, formerly Cornell, 129. 5 is analysis of the idea of Debkut and its development in Judaism as a desideratum, like Ibn Ezra on Psalm 1, 3, Nachmanides on Deuteronomy 11, 22, and on Job 31, 7. Ezra ben Solomon published, he had a book, Ketbi Yud Bakbala, published in 1930. Page 197 is where Gershom Scholem put that. Ezra quotes as saying, a saying of his teacher, Isaac the Blind, Aikar Abudat Hum Shukilim Washbi Shamu Wabu Tud Bakun Waku Shir Hashirim, 1763, folio 8D. Sixth, the articles on the Bikut in Semek Lashun Hastim, 1876, folio 15F, and in Semek Dirk Chesidim, 1876. Folio 24. 7 relates to R. Phineas of Courts. Giving a paraphrase in Yiddish, he translates the words Tzorik Adam Ludbuk Bah as Mosik Arain Gain in Hashem Semek Likuthi Shu Shanim, 1876, page 14. And 8 refers to something published in Berlin, 1922. 9, a description of the experience of the high priest in entering the Holy of Holies on the Day of Atonement, has such an ecstatical character. Zohar 367a and 102a, Zohar Hadash, (1885), folio 19a and 21a. See the bibliography, Jelinek, Philosophy und Kabbalah, page 23. And he knows of some Kabbalists in Jerusalem who copied manuscripts of one of the most difficult of Abulathia's books, not in order to sell them, but for the sake of their own work. And that's, of course, the best reason to copy out anything of a spiritual nature. 13. Jehuda Hayat, in the preface to his commentary on Munchat Yehuda, on the book Markat Halhut of Mantua, 1558. 14 relates to Moses Cordovero and Hayam Batal. Well, I mean, they quote him more than once as a high authority, not to mention minor Kabbalist. Eliezer Ellenberg, a German Kabbalist, 1555 of the Common Era, says that Abulathia's Amri Shupper in rhyme prose, Shuk Ulu Amuk Merchuk Chuper, and Kol Aish Asher Muk Chish Sipper Amri. Sipper Huwa Aish Sucker Au Aish Cooper. In the manuscript of the New York Jewish Theological Seminary, 891F, folio 101A. 15. The Kabbalists used to quote all sorts of variations on Maimonides, saying, Halkut, Yesudi, Hatura, volume 4, 13, Wani, Almer, Ain, Rawi, Lathiel, Paprodam, Allah, Mi, Shun, Tumla, Karisu, Lachum, Webshur. 16 of the two great Kabbalists in the 13th century, the brothers Jacob and Isaac Hahokin of Soria, we know on the very good authority, Shla Hu Bali, Hurah But Lamud. Tarbez, volume 3, page 261. 17. The following account is based chiefly on the fragment of Ab's Outser Aden. Ganuz, published by Jelinek in Beit HaMidrash, volume 3, page 40 of the introduction. Many other details are to be found in his commentaries on his own prophetical writings. See Scheidner's analysis of the manuscript in Munich, 285, and his catalog of the Hebrew manuscript in Munich, 1895, page 142 to 146. 18 refers to Koch, Meister Eckhart, Undai Judist Religionis Philosophie des Metallasters in Jahresbericht der Schlesischen Gesellschaft für Vaterlandisch Kultur, 1928, page 15 of the reprint. 19 refers to Abulabdia's commentary on the Mora, is extant in two versions, A. T.E. Hunpush in manuscript 408 in Munich, Erlanger Memorial Collection 96 in Jewish Theological Seminary, Sapri Tura, of which more than 25 manuscripts are known. Some pieces of it were printed anonymously in the Kabbalistical collection Lakuthi Shukcha. Wap Ah Ferrara, 1556, folio 23 to 31. 20, according to Outzer Aden Ganuz, manuscript of Oxford, 1580, folio 17a. The list of these commentaries is printed in Beth HaMidrash, volume 3, page 42. 22, Mup Chut Hakbala, manuscript of Paris, 1770, Jewish Theological Seminary, 835. This article on the author and the book in EJ 3, column 1105. And 23, Wani Almer Luktub Wani Rishay Wani Almer Shalah Luktub Wani Yuk-u Lahnich Lugmiri Lukan Ani Kutub Wamanich Wa Chooser Aud Bu Bumkum Acher Wakan Darki. In 1279, he is full of praise for these pupils. The passage in Jelonix Gunzi Chukmat Hakbala, the German part of page 17, note 4, by 1282, he writes rather coolly about them. Hetchium is the manuscript, Sepper. In Munich, 285, folio 21b. And 1285, he says bitterly, Yetzau Latarbut Rahbi Ki Narim Beli Mid'a Hu Wazbatim Beth HaMidrash 3, page 41. 25, MGWJ, volume 36, 1887, page 558. 26 fragments of one of these earlier works. Semek Maptachut Rayun are extant in the manuscript of the Vatican, 291 of the book. Geth Heshmut in manuscript Oxford, 1658. 27, A.H. Silver in A History of the Messianic Speculation in Israel, 1927, page 146, has been the first to see in this connection. 28, the account published in MGWJ, volume 36, page 558, and that was published in 1887. 26, the fragments of one of these earlier works, Semek Maptachut Rayun, are extant in the manuscript of the Vatican, 291 of the book. Geth Heshmut in the manuscript of Oxford, 1658. 27, A.H. Silver, A History of the Messianic Speculation in Israel, 1927, page 146, has been the first to see this connection. 28, the account is published in MGWJ, volume 36, page 558. 29, Sepper Hout, published by Jelinek in Jubelschrift, Zoom 70, Geburtsstage des Professor H. Gratz, 1887, page 65 to 85. 30, MGWJ, volume 36, page 558. Zinberg, The History of Jewish Literature, volume 3, 1931, page 52, quotes a poem of one of Abulafia's admirers who complains bitterly of these persecutions. Scholem ben Adreth attacked him for his activities in Sicily as a prophet and quasi-messiah. Shu Tau Hershab Aleph, number 548, and by the letters, I'm sure they mean something like this is the number 1 or the number 5, and which other letters have we used. Sipper Hout, for note 31, page 76. 32, in his Meptach Hutch Kamat on Genesis manuscript Parma, Darasi 141F, 16b, and 28b, 33, the same folio 16b, Wayne Sapuk Sheesh, Maham Qatzat Chukmim, Shudayim Za Hasud, Wud Baru Ami Basud, Wuglu Li Shazuhi Datum Bala Sapuk, Waz Dunkim Ani Gimel Kaf, Bakulul Chasidi Almut, Hayulam Wayne Lechush, Al Debri Hup Tame, Baum Alma Shala Ni Tana, Tura Allah Labali Hadat, and Ibid Folio 28b, Wamautu Hiyum Wahla, Nuder al Atzmu Lakbol, Mumni Shum Dibber Mustri, Hatora Wah Tahab Ami, Wuk Bati Bulbu Chets, Cheshuk Yad Yat Hashem, Ad Shahuda Wamer, Masha Amat Waturatu Amt Wayne Zurich Laglut Manin Hagwi, Uter Masa, 35, Landauer in Literaturblatt des Orients, volume 6, 1845, column 473. He even spake of Abulafia as a rationalist Christian, column 590. The same misinterpretation is given by S. Bernfeld. And I think Judaism is too broad for people to quite say, oh, that's more common amongst the Christians, but because as we've seen in the lectures. 36, Sepper Hout, page 71, the manuscript of his books, are full of passages, especially Gen Naul, manuscript of Munich, 58, partly incorporated into Semek Hapoyah, 1784. This is the manuscript, folio 50 to 56. 37, Seper Hout, page 71, column B. He enlarges on such Trinitarian ideas, especially in the Seper Malits, using the terminology of Ben Aluh, Ruch, HaKadush, for the three aspects of the intellect which are explained in other metaphors of the passage quoted in note 75, Semek, Hetchuk, manuscript, and Allow, memorial column 858 of the Jewish Theological Seminary, folio 26b. He says, Wam Yamar Luk Adam Shah Al Hut Shul Shah Amar Lu Shukar Wakzab Shukan Shulsha Bun Yamthriya Shukar Wakaz. Wait. So 238. The Hebrew part in page 19 of Gunzi Chukmat Hakbala. Philosophy U Kabbalah, page 38, one of Abalathia's treatises. Semek, Mutzraf, Luksuf, Wakur, Lezhub, manuscript Sassoon, 56. Is written especially against Thout, Mech, Shubtu, Shul, Tol, Mead, Achad, But, Lum Yidu, Shah, Amin, Bus, Pirut, Waki Ain, Lanu, Bid, Yatam, Ki, Am, Kriat, Shum, Lakal, Sapira, Balbad, Wala, Agur, Anin, Kalal. Kriat, is that the Karites?